Hey, Edel here. I was approached by the Children's Therapy Centre of Ireland and Social Care Ireland to put together a little video clip that may be of use to you social care practitioners out there, or actually anybody working as a frontline superhero at the moment. And I'm really loving that term, frontline superhero. At the moment, I'm not working, so I'm not going out to work. I am staying at home. I am doing some telephone support and doing some online training. But for a lot of you are going out to work, in the face of COVID-19. And, even for me or for everybody else, is that there's no training, there's no course that I ever attended. I mean, COVID-19 or a pandemic or, never ever would have come into my radar. So this is a very, very strange time, a very difficult time, and we were catapulted into this situation. So for a lot of us, we would have gone into shock. Now I've done all the cooking, cleaning, gardening. I used a drill. I actually tried to turn on the chainsaw, but that was a no-go area. I'm not advising anybody to do that. So I've done all that, and that was, I suppose, for me, that was to regulate. Because this is, 1 week I'm going to work and the next week I'm not. But what I have been doing, and this is something that I'm going to invite you to do as social care practitioners, is maybe to reflect, use this time for reflection as well. Why did I decide to become a social care practitioner? What made me want to care? What made me want to, to be part of change, to help vulnerable families? What made me want to become a memory in a person's memory bank? And I think this is something as well that a lot of us don't think about. If you're working as a social care practitioner, you are going to be a memory in your client's memory bank forever. Now, for me, that's something that's, very close to my heart. So for all the children that I work with, that I have worked with, is that I know that I'm a memory in their memory bank forever. And sometimes as a social care practitioner, or sometimes as a psychotherapist, sometimes we actually don't ever, maybe find out what happened in somebody's life, or, where they went on after leaving residential care, or, we may not have that information. Often we wonder about the people that we worked with. But for you to realise is that your role, your job is absolutely vital, and I think that's something that a lot of us don't stop and reflect on. I would advise and maybe invite you to, a little activity is that, if you do get a little bit of time and you're at home, is maybe to reflect again about why you did get into the field of caring, why you did get into the field of change and having an impact in people's lives. And, this is something that's going to help us get through this, because some of us may feel that, well, we haven't been acknowledged in the news, we haven't been spoken about, it's very much about other frontline services, but no one's talking about social care practitioners, and I get that. I certainly get that. So for you, is to use this time maybe as a reflection, why you do what you do, because it definitely will support you getting through this. And one of the ways that you can do that is maybe just to get some of these little sticks, Mr. Price for everything at the moment, and to write down some words on these and keep them in a little jar. Okay, keep them in a little jar, and every now and again just pick them out, and just to remind you of the importance of your job. Because again, as I'd say, a lot of us feel unseen in this pandemic, and I think that's important. Okay, I think that's really important. So yeah, that's just a little activity that you can do. It's not very often that I get to meet with children that I've worked with at a young age, but a couple of years ago, and this is why I wore this today. A couple of years ago, I worked with a young boy, a very complex background, experienced an awful lot of trauma in his early years, but I worked with him for a long time, and during play we would often go to the zoo, or we'd go to the safari, and we'd visit different animals. So I got a phone call one evening from this boy's dad, and he said, we've just come back from a trip, and we'll say John really wants to meet with you because he has a gift for you. Now, it would have been, I suppose, maybe 4 or 5 years since I would have seen this child. This child was now an adult, and he had an intellectual disability, but it was really important that he came to see me after his trip. So when he came anyway, he was really excited. He had a present wrapped for me, which is this here. And he went off and he got to explore and got to see different animals, such as elephants and giraffes. But while he was there, his dad was saying, you're really excited. Look, there's an elephant over there, there's a bamboo over there, whatever. And John would say, no, I've seen them before anyway. So the dad said, no, you were never here. And he said, I was here. He said, I was here with Edel. And for me, when I heard that story, I thought, wow, we really do have an impact on children's lives and vulnerable people's lives. We really do, and that's something I want you to hold on to. So this is the gift that I got from a faraway land by this little boy that came back. Now, that doesn't happen very often, so I just want you to kind of think about that, is that your work is absolutely vital. And the other thing that I would suggest that you do is that if people inspire you, so, I've met loads of people, such as Dr. Bruce Perry, which amazing, he's a child and adolescent psychotherapist. And when someone inspires me in my work, I buy a symbol. Dr. Perry loves bears. Okay, so I bought this bear for Dr. Perry. So sometimes in my work, when I'm in the playroom, I'd often think, I wonder what Dr. Perry would say. Okay, so this is Eileen Prindle here, the wise owl. And I would pick these up and I would look for some wisdom. So it's another little idea that is really supportive in the work that we do. Because again, and I'll keep saying it, is that your work is vital. And we do see you. So I think it was 5 minutes. I'm actually gone over the 5 minutes now. I'm looking at 6 minutes 31. So I'll just keep going. I just want to say, to finish with a little story. I can't remember whose story this is by, but you probably have heard it before. But this is for all you social care practitioners and you frontline superheroes out there. My friend was walking down a lonely Mexican beach at sunset when he noticed a local native bending down and picking things up. As my friend approached the man, he said, "Good evening, sir. I'm just wondering what you're doing." The native was bending down, picking up starfish and throwing them out into the ocean. My friend was very curious. He said to the man, He said, "There's starfish all over this beach." And the local native bent down, picked up some more starfish and threw them back into the sea. My friend was confused. He approached the man again. He said, "Excuse me, sir." He said, "There is thousands of starfish on this beach." He said, "And this is probably happening all over the world." He said, "Can't you see you can't possibly make a difference?" As the local native bent down, he picked up yet another starfish. And as he threw it out into the ocean, he said, "But I made a difference to this one." Keep up the great work, guys.